Welcome to episode 222, our predictions for 2025.
What better number episode 222 to pull out our crystal balls and look into the future and share with everybody not our predictions for what the VA space is going to look like next year, but also those really important in-demand services that we know so many of you really want to know about.
Mhm.
And also the things that we see, the trends that we see leads and clients looking for when they're outsourcing. Who are we, Joe? Who are we to be talking about this?
I think we have a pretty good bird's eye view of what goes on in the VA industry. I see
Agree.
it in our own business. What we are looking to outsource,
Hmm.
definitely an indicator. And then in my VA agency, what we're seeing come through. So
Yeah. And in my role as, in the over in the Virtual Assistant Network of New Zealand, like the conversations that I'm having with everybody in the VA space, whether it's subcontractors, freelancers, agency owners, and then those that are outsourcing to virtual assistants as well. So
mm,
I agree. I feel like we really do have a very unique bird's eye view of the VA space. We've been in the VA space for how many years now?
this is my 12th year.
Yeah,
It's
congratulations.
a bit old to be in something for 12 years. Wow.
Your 12th year, coming into my ninth, and then obviously coaching for coming into year 5. So we know a little bit about what we're about to talk about. It isn't completely kind of crystal ball.
Yeah. Okay, let's kick it off with what we're going to see with virtual assistants.
Yeah. We are definitely going to see more and more virtual assistants taking our advice, thank God, and specializing, because this is
Mm,
what sets you apart from the crowd.
yes. Yep. I think from our own, the way that we view outsourcing really plays into this too. Like we are looking for specialist virtual assistants who really know what they're doing. And we're
Mhm.
willing to pay a premium for that. I think it makes sense for you as a virtual assistant to specialize so that you can stand out, so that you can be the one that's chosen, so that you don't have to go into burnout to try and learn all the things. You've heard us talk about this a lot, like specializing. It's where it's at.
Yeah, leads that are looking to outsource, not just for the first time, but even business owners that have been there, done that, got the certificate to prove that they've outsourced for many years. They want specialists. They want somebody that knows the ins and outs of the particular
Mm.
thing that they want to get off their plate.
Yep.
No brainer. It's a no brainer.
Yep. All right. In no particular order, these are either.
Mhm.
But I think the other thing that we're going to see for virtual assistants is that with AI, seeing a lot of noise about AI agents. They are here. They are about to have the ability to complete tasks, to go off on your computer, on your phone, and complete tasks. So for virtual assistants, it's about really learning about what this means, how you can utilize these yourself, you can utilize these for clients, because clients are also going to start cottoning onto this and figuring out that they can actually get tasks done with an AI agent. But they're going to need help.
Yeah. A lot of these clients they don't have the time to learn it themselves. They want somebody to come in that already knows it, that goes, yep, this is what you need, and I'm going to set it all up for you. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go.
Yeah.
Make it easy for them. There's going to be some things that, that come along with this AI world that we're now in. We're obviously seeing every man and their dog using ChatGPT, which is great. ChatGPT and those other apps like it are fantastic. Such a time saver, especially if content creating is not your thing. However, we believe that we're going to see those virtual assistants using ChatGPT to get those that are using ChatGPT and not putting some critical thinking into what ChatGPT is then spitting out for them, those VAs, you're going to get lost in the crowd. your messaging is going to sound like everybody else's. We're seeing it now. I feel like it's going to get worse next year.
Yeah, it is so obvious to us. Some of you may not even be able to spot the indicators of what ChatGPT content looks like. We urge you, you must learn how to use ChatGPT properly, how to prompt it properly. We use ChatGPT, but many times you will not notice when we are using ChatGPT because we are changing the wording. We are training our ChatGPT to be able to speak like us. We are reviewing, and like Sam says, that critical thinking is going to really come into play when you're creating content with ChatGPT.
Yeah. Anything that ChatGPT is spitting out for you, you need to be changing at least, well, aim for 20%. But I reckon when you're first starting out, it's at least 20%. Like that's just the icing on the cake until you're training it to sound more and more like you. So I feel like at this point, we are like ChatGPT sniffer dogs. Like we sniff it like a mile off in terms of ChatGPT wrote that for you, didn't it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
need
talk
to
about
stand
this
out from the crowd.
we talk about this in coaching calls, and we say, you're using ChatGPT for your content, and they are like, how can you tell? We're like, it's really obvious to us, and they're just blown away that this is so easy to pick up for many people.
I mean, think about it. It's like every single, say if we were to very generalist, right? It's like every single virtual assistant using or being able to afford to use the same social media content creator, the same person. This isn't a bot. This is a person. It's going to probably sound and look the same if everyone was using the same person. It's the same thing. If you're using the same bot, you haven't personalized that bot, you haven't put time and effort into training that bot, it is going to sound the same.
Yeah.
Rant over. This isn't a ranty one. This is supposed to be like, this is what's happening next year.
Okay, we believe that the demand for virtual assistants is going to rise, but there's some caveats on this. So people are going to be more and more figuring out, okay, it is way more beneficial for me to be outsourcing than it is for me to be hiring an employee, and the risks that come with that. Like more and more people are going to realize that there is going to be more and more demand. People are talking about outsourcing and not doing the task that someone else can do and focusing your time on the right things, doing deep work. There are so many podcasts and so much content out there about productivity, outsourcing to VAs. So the demand is absolutely going to keep rising, but the things that they're going to be getting you to do are going to be different, higher level. There's going to be a bit of a stack, which we'll get into later, of different types of support that someone can get. But the demand for virtual assistants is going to rise. AI is going to take over some of those lower level processing tasks, but the demand for VAs is still going to be there and it's still going to increase.
Yeah, agreed. In fact, we're going to see a surge again, like we did COVID. Like I feel like another surge is coming in 2025 for sure. We've talked about this a lot between ourselves and inside the mastermind, not so much on the podcast, but we also really believe that those businesses that are used to outsourcing, not necessarily the new ones, but those that have outsourced for a while now, they know the ins and outs, they know how it works, they know how to do it in a way that is then profitable for them. We're going to see more and more of them outsourcing to a mix of local VAs and offshore VAs.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense.
It does, yeah. They're realizing that there are many tasks that they can get done for a lot less cost than they can with a local virtual assistant. So the expectations and the level of what they will be wanting the local virtual assistant to do will be increased. So they're definitely going to have a mix. More and more people realizing that it's more accessible to hire those who are offshore. So I think that's definitely going to be a combination. It's going to make sense for people. We're already seeing it and we're going to see it more. Virtual assistants who bring on a client, they're saying, oh, the client already has a virtual assistant, say over in the Philippines or India or wherever. And now they've brought me in to do this part. So they are absolutely hiring a mix of support.
Yeah, don't be surprised if you're asked if you're the first one that they bring on, and then they're like, right, we need to grow the team more. But
Mhm.
these are the tasks that it makes sense to outsource. So we could bring on offshore VAs for this bit. Will you
Yeah.
manage the team? Will you set up the
Mm.
systems and processes? Will you do the comms for me? This is not a bad thing. Like, this is
Yeah.
a prediction. We're going to see more and more of it, but it's not a bad thing. If you're a New Zealand or Australian virtual assistant business owner and freaked out when we just brought this up, you don't
Mhm.
need to freak out about it. There is a place for both you and the offshore virtual assistants that you'll be working alongside or you'll be leading. It's
Mm.
not a big deal.
Yeah. We are also likely to see more virtual assistant agencies having their own mix of team members where they might hire some employees and a mix of subcontractors as well. So we're seeing that over in the Scale Up Mastermind. There's more conversations about, which kind of level of VA agency or what kind of part of your journey do you actually start to think about hiring employees and subcontractors having that mix. So we're going to see more of that for sure.
Yeah, especially if you're the VA agency owners that have started off with the subcontractors, which is what exactly we recommend, especially those that are very, very new to running teams, finding their feet, expanding their own network of professionals that they call upon, like HR support, it then makes sense to kind of go down the employee route as well. So we're also, I reckon, we're going to see more and more VA business owners in terms of their team just like the business owners outsourcing to both a mix of local and offshore, the VA agency, their team members becoming a mix of local and offshore. I mean, this is
Mm.
great for your bottom line.
Yeah. So I have had Filipino team members in my VA agency one of them just had their 7th anniversary, actually, 7-year
Oh,
anniversary. So he was our first global team member that we hired, still with us today. And yeah, we have a mix, have for the last 7 years, and it just makes sense. The New Zealand based team members that I have work directly with the client, and then they love that they can have the support of the global team doing the processing work in the background so that they can actually focus on, okay, how can I think better for this client? How can I suggest better things? How can I do a higher level advisory kind of virtual assistant role for the clients, and
mm,
then just level up the service that we're providing? So I think that's going to become more and more common as more people actually get their head around this being an amazing thing. And yeah, I
it's a
think it's going to be more
great,
common.
yeah, it's a great option to scale your VA business. I think up until recently, there's been a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths. There's been a lot of fear around not even building or having a business model like this, but like talking about it
Mm.
publicly. There's no shame around this. I think there's, we've gone, when I say we, talking about not just Joe and I, but in terms of, I think in the business world in general, we went through a stage where it was very much support local. You've got to support local. We've got to do the best what's, for our fellow New Zealanders, our fellow Australians, our fellow business owners. But growing your team with this type of business model does not mean you're not supporting local. You can have both.
Yeah, it's actually helped me grow my local team because I can improve the profitability. And then this thing often comes up where it's like, oh, but you're then putting profit over people. And I'm like, no, I'm actually not, because the Filipinos I am supporting have this amazing life. They say to me,
Yeah,
thank you so much. Your pay is way higher than I ever got in the BPOs, which is the outsourcing companies. Like, they have really great lives. I am supporting families over in the
yeah.
Philippines. They are people too. We've brought one over to New Zealand. We've
Mm.
been over to the Philippines. We've played karaoke with them, played video games. Like, we have had an amazing time with them and really gotten to know them. And they're so grateful. So, like, they're people too. I don't know
Mhm.
why anyone is saying like profit over people. I just don't get how
Yeah.
that concept comes into that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to see more acceptance of it. We're going to see more and more VA business owners talking about it, celebrating it, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for everybody involved. If this type of thing is something that you're interested in learning more about, this is one of the things that we teach over in the Scale Up Mastermind. So reach
Mm.
out if you want to chat about that. Okay. More predictions for 2025. We are going to see more and more virtual assistants really embrace their neurodiverse spiciness, their superpowers, the things that makes them special. Once again, another thing that is no longer a shameful thing, a label to have, I guess. And I think we're
Mhm.
seeing it. We're starting to see it in 2024. I think we're going to see a surge of it more, the true authenticity coming out in terms of our individual unique superpowers.
I think we're also gonna see people leaning into more like, "This is me, these are my thoughts and ideas and my beliefs," especially seeing those more spiritual are actually gonna be saying that they are a spiritual VA. So,
Yeah.
owning their authentic self, their values, what they believe in, and being
Mm,
more outwardly open about that superpower that they have, I think is gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. We also reckon we're going to see more and more accidental VA agency owners pop up. And this is due to this kind of surge, this demand that we expect to see in 2025 for those businesses that are wanting to find a virtual assistant of their own. This obviously means we're going to see more and more VAs. The ones that are doing well, the ones that are got those business fundamentals in place, they're going to get booked up, and they're going to all of a sudden go, oh shit, I need somebody, I need a team member, I need some support. And so very kind of, maybe not proactively, but reactively, all of a sudden they find themselves with team members going, how did I get here? And now what the fuck do I do?
Do you know what I think happens is that they have a friend, someone that they know, and they're
Yeah.
talking about it, and they're like, "Oh, I could do some work for you." And then they just like, "Oh, cool. Okay. You could do this work for me." And then they come on board, and then they're like, "Oh, am I an agency owner now? Oh, no, no, but I'm not. I'm not. It's just my friend. Or it's just my family member, or it's just my sister. It's just my friend." So a lot of
Yes.
downplaying, which I think is that where the accidental comes in. But if
Hmm.
you actually look at it, you are now a VA agency.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So I think accidental VA agency owners, but also a lot more virtual assistants coming into the market. We're
Mhm.
seeing a surge of VAs coming in. We're going to keep seeing that. I think as more people lose their jobs, especially like over this like last part of this year, we've seen, or maybe I don't, was it like mid 2024 was kind of like
Mm,
the lots of them losing their jobs. So I think
mm,
as those people have like finished their terms or their contracts, I think more and more VAs will come into the VA space. But I also think that there is a lot of talk online about balance, having flexibility, being there for your family, what's really important to you. And I just don't think that the traditional 9 to 5 works for everyone anymore because they
yeah,
want more out of life.
yeah. This is not on our list, Joe, but hearing you say that, another thing has just popped into my head around that. Because it's one thing to say that, it's another thing to actually create a business that means that you are living that. And that's around boundaries, right? And because that is going to be something that is becoming more and more important to those coming into the VA space, to those established VA agencies, that VA business owners that maybe have lost track of that
Mm.
along the way. I think we're going to see more and more VAs really step into their power, really shed the employee mindset, and really take a lot of time in maintaining their boundaries with their clients and with leads, which is a great thing, a great, great thing.
Mhm. Yeah, it breaks our heart every time someone shares that, like, it's just not what I wanted it to be. I'm working so many hours and it's like, it's a struggle because we know it just doesn't have to be like that. And there
Yeah.
are things that you can do differently. So I
Yeah.
think that's so hard to see that. I think we're going to see those, like you say, who haven't embraced their boundaries and
Mm.
enforced those are going to find themselves in that place. Yep.
Unfortunately, it might take those VAs falling into burnout zone in order for change to happen. But look, if that's what it takes,
Mm,
Anyhow,
yeah.
speaking about the surge of new VAs coming to the space next year, I reckon we're going to see more and more come in, and instead of kind of rushing into it and going, right, I want to be a VA and I need to find clients and just doing it, I feel as though a lot of these newbies coming in, they are going to be more intentional with their path. I think they're going to do a lot more research into it. They're going to want to do it, but they're going to want to do it right. And I think through that, we're going to see a lot more choose the subcontract pathway rather than finding their own client base.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be great for virtual assistant agency owners. You're going to have a
Mhm.
lot of options hiring subcontractors into your team. So, yeah, I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. What else have we got on our list? Okay. One
Oh,
that
yeah.
might be a little contentious. Those who are virtual assistants providing low level services like data entry, transcribing, general low level admin, I think, who don't keep up with tech and AI are going to start to struggle and
Mhm.
potentially drop off out of the VA space. And I think so you questioned me, you said, "Really? Next year?" And I had
Mm.
to really think about this, and yes, I think because I can see the pace of AI, and, we did our AI webinar,
Mhm.
and in there we talked about AI agents starting to be able to go off and do tasks, and it wouldn't happen overnight. And we predicted that in the 6 months, so that was May, so until like kind of now December this year, we suggested that VAs really start to learn ChatGPT, how to use it, how to prompt, and that's going to
Mhm.
be the focus. And then next year is when those AI agents are going to come out,
Mm.
and AI is going to be able to do those low level tasks. And that is playing out almost to the day, that is very accurate.
Yep.
So, because of that, I think that is going to become really mainstream and really easy for business owners to hear about what is going to be available with these AI agents, because it's going to be talked about everywhere. I don't think they're going to be able to escape it. Now, to give you a bit of comfort, if you feel like you are a lower level virtual assistant, there are some simple things that you could learn in terms of those AI agents to help your clients start to use some tools. There are some simple tools that you could start off with that are going to really help level you up and be able to start to offer a higher level service. So, yeah, I don't think you have to drop off out of the VA space, but you will need to do
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah. Yeah. Virtual assistants are going to, if you've been putting off learning about AI in 2024, you cannot put it off any longer. Like 2025 has to be the year that you grab our AI survival toolkit or you start doing your own research around all this. There really is going to be no escaping it in 2025. No more
Yeah.
head in the sand. You don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah. The other prediction that we made in that AI webinar is that Xero was going to bring out their own AI kind of assistant inside their tool. And literally Wednesday,
Yeah.
one of the bookkeeping virtual assistants in Scale Up Mastermind said,
Mm.
"I've just been given access to Jax, which is Xero's AI tool, AI assistant, let's call it. And she is now going to start using that tool." And that is like 6 months almost to the day
Mhm. Yeah, I
when we made
remember
that prediction.
I remember that very first time we ran the webinar this year, so earlier this year, and that slide came up in the webinar, and the reaction for those that were on the webinar live with us, especially the bookkeepers, were like, well, we haven't heard anything about that yet. And you were like, it's coming. It's coming. It was
It's
not
coming this
long.
year.
It's
Yeah.
coming this year. And then it did. So, hey, look, our crystal ball hasn't been wrong. It hasn't been wrong yet. So watch the space with all of our predictions that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Just saying. Okay. I think that's our list of kind of like our general VA space predictions. Let's talk about what we've seen or what we believe is coming in 2025 in terms of in-demand services. So these are the services that we believe clients and leads are going to be, it's going to be at the top of their list in terms of what they're going to want to help with outsourcing.
I'm going to say one that's not on here.
Ooh.
I think AI and automations, 100%. 2025 is going to be the year that business owners are like finally ready to embrace it, put time in it, put money into it, and actually invest in getting someone to help with AI and automations.
Yeah, agreed. I can't believe it wasn't on the list. Why wasn't it on the list? The next one on our list is bookkeeping. It's been on our list every year, I think, for the past 4 years, and it is not going away anytime soon. That is a safe bet. If you are a qualified bookkeeper and you are doing your thing and you're doing it well, yeah, great service. Great service. That's not to say, actually, let's take a step back. I feel as though we need like a little warning. Just because it's an in-demand service doesn't mean you need to all of a sudden think that you need to add it to your list of services.
Correct. Yeah. You got to be a numbers person. You got to be an accounts processing person. Like, you need to have that personality and that experience to do that, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I've put a little bit extra, so bookkeeping, but with AI. So you're going to have to figure out some AI options, tools, using Jax, the Xero's AI assistant, like learn that stuff, because your clients are going to expect you to be helping them with some AI stuff when it's related to their bookkeeping, accounts, financial kind of part of their business.
Yeah. Another another service that has been in demand. I reckon we saw a surge this year, 2024, because I feel like minute taking, it's a dying skill. There is a lot of people that just don't like offering it. They may be good at it, but they just don't like it. I mean, that was me. It was one of the first things I gave up. And there's a lot of people that think they know how to minute take, but in actual fact, they're actually not very good. So for a client or lead that wants a highly skilled and experienced minute taker, they're actually hard to find. So it's a great premium service. We're only going to see, it's not going away, but just like bookkeeping, it is going to change with AI. So if this is a service that you are offering or thinking about offering, it's time to start doing your research into all of the tools that are going to help you deliver that service in a really great way.
So many AI transcribing tools now. Yeah. Okay, the next in-demand service in 2025, absolutely systems, processes, streamlining, and AI and automations is going to come into that as well.
Totally.
Actually documenting and setting up new tools and streamlining, making things better in terms of the operations of a business, absolutely going to be an in-demand service.
Yeah, there's only a small percentage of business owners that enjoy doing this part of business owning. So they need somebody to come in and they need somebody to do it and do it well. Yeah. It wouldn't be an in-demand list without social media management. What business isn't on at least one platform of social media? Like, there's no escaping social media, no escaping it for the past few years, and it's definitely not going away anytime soon. However, there are, I think, those that are willing to invest money, like real money, like premium prices type of money. They want somebody that has that strategic level of social media management. So we're not just talking content creators, actually talking social media managers, strategists, those that know a little bit about meta ads as well.
Yeah, that real digital marketing. Like people are going to actually be wanting to see results from their social media.
Mhm.
So it's that real like management strategy advisory level and they'll be expecting that person, that agency, to have that marketing knowledge. How are you actually marketing? Copywriting too, I think is going to come into that.
Mhm.
Not just creating social media, but actually being able to write good copy and it not just be ChatGPT.
Mhm.
I think that's gonna be a big part of it. Marketing, copywriting, social media all wrapped in. It's
Yeah.
gonna be key.
Yeah. Those VAs offering website design services, great service to offer. That's not going away anytime soon. However, the VAs that are going to do really well next year are the ones that have become an expert in a particular platform. Are you a
Mm.
WordPress VA? Are you a Squarespace? Are you a Rocket Spark? Pick a platform, become amazing at it, and that is the platform that you're talking about.
And something that's gonna change next year is the way that people search. Google is very worried right now that their Google search is gonna be non-existent because people are using ChatGPT to search the web. ChatGPT now has the ability to actually search. So say, please search the web, and it's going to be able to go off and do the research or the looking at websites on behalf of the person requesting that search. So I think those who are doing websites are also going to have to really get up to play with how AI is going to change the game in terms of SEO and searching and how your website is going to have to be optimized
Mm,
for AI to be able to find the information on that website.
yep.
That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, watch the space. Watch the space. Let's talk about sales. This has kind of been, this wasn't, I don't reckon this was this definitely wasn't an in demand service 2 years ago. I think we've
Mm.
seen an increase in demand for it in 2024. But do you agree, Joe? Like
Mm.
this is going to become definitely more and more in demand, especially into 2025. Sales support, sales calls, following up on behalf of your clients, sales funnels,
Mhm.
sales. They need to be making money and they need help to do it.
Yes, that's going to be front of mind for everyone. How am I going to make sales in like
Mhm.
oversaturated markets and so much
Yeah.
noise online, and
Mhm.
where I think people are realizing that human to human responsive support, someone there, someone available, someone to talk someone through something. I think that human to human experience, that customer service is going to be really key.
Mm.
So if you're in the sales support and you're nurturing the leads, nurturing their customers, I think that's going to be really important.
Yeah. Agreed. If you've been sitting here listening to this list for the last few minutes going, "Oh my god, I'm starting to sweat." You haven't
Mhm.
mentioned you haven't mentioned executive assistant, you haven't mentioned general admin. What about me? It's on the list, don't worry.
I think those who haven't outsourced or don't have a team yet, and maybe they're running their business on their own, and this is Sam and I, we're in
Mhm,
this boat where not that we haven't outsourced before, but it's just us in our business. We have a virtual assistant and I would call her a generalist.
mhm,
So that general support does a bit of everything. That makes real sense for someone who has the ability or desire to hire one person, and they need that person to do a bunch of different things. I think that's an easy first hire for someone that makes sense. So I think that if you're a generalist, executive assistant, a right-hand person, still going to be in demand. Still going to be a big demand for that in 2025 because that is an easy step for
mm,
someone to take. They can understand that, oh, I'm getting a bit of everything. Amazing.
mm. I feel like it's like one of those no-brainer things to outsource for the very first time, like bookkeeping and
Mm.
some just a general assistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this is you, however, though, let's rewind a bit to that conversation a few minutes ago. We talked about you cannot hide. Like 2025 needs to be the year that you really start embracing AI and automations. Okay. Back to another kind of specialist virtual assistant service. That would be course, like supporting course creators, coaches, those that have got memberships as well. That is an industry that is growing considerably
Mhm.
and they need the support.
Yep. Same with podcast management. That's going to be continue to be in demand. Podcasts are huge. There are a lot of podcasts. It's not easy to create a podcast, and they're going to need some help. The know-how, platforms, the editing, how it all works.
Mm.
There is a big demand for podcast management.
Yeah. And those coaches, those mentors that have courses, have memberships, have podcasts, they have a lot of content and they don't have the time they may have the time to create that initial piece of content. They don't have the time to repurpose it. They don't have the time to schedule it out. They don't have the time to be engaging in all the places every time it is scheduled out. So content repurposing is, so incredibly helpful.
Yep. And then our final in-demand service for 2025 is an OBM, so an online business manager. This is that higher level operational management, someone that's actually in a business, helping that person run things, manage the team members, manage the operations, come up with the ideas and implement new systems. That is incredibly powerful for an online business owner. And I think that is going to continue to be in demand.
Yeah, agreed. That's not going anywhere. Okay, let's change track a little bit. Let's talk about what we see in 2025, the things that clients and leads are going to be looking for when outsourcing. Because this is another thing, the trends change. People get more savvy about what they're looking for, more specific about what they're looking for. I reckon to 2025, 2024, 2025, people skills is huge. People want to outsource. They want people part of their teams that know about people skills, that can deal with people,
Mhm. Yeah.
that can communicate.
I think they're definitely going to be looking for that. Absolutely. I think they're also going to be looking for someone who is tech savvy, understand automations, they understand the tools, they can navigate around in this very tech world we are in right now. They're going to be expecting that from you.
Something's just occurred to me, Joe. You
Yes.
saying that every time we talk about the importance of being tech savvy, we freak an aspiring virtual assistant out.
Mm.
They go, oh my God, but there are so many tools and I don't know all these tools. I only know X, Y, and Z. I don't know A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, there
Do
really is
you
that
mean
many
I need to
tools.
know all those? Does being tech savvy mean I need to know A to Z, Joe?
Yeah. And what we say is that being tech savvy means that you know how to navigate your way around a tool given some time in a tool. You
Mm.
understand how tools work because fundamentally they are set up in the same way. You know that the 3-bar menu is where you're going to find options. You know, in the settings, there's a bunch of things you're going to have to update in the background. You know that your profile is in the top right corner or top left corner. You just understand fundamentally how the tools work. And given a tool, you could figure it out and find your way around.
Yeah, I'm going to add on to that. I believe a big part of being tech savvy isn't just already knowing that tool, but it's being open and willing to learn and keep up to date with new technology and new tools and the updates rather than freaking out if something was to change or panicking if a lead comes to you
Mm.
with a tool that you haven't used before, and all of a sudden you go, well, I can't do that, even though actually you can, because you've got a
Mm.
brain, you know how to Google, you can watch YouTube clips, like not panicking about something new, not feeling as though you have to know everything about everything. Just going, you know
Yeah.
what? I've got a decent brain up here. I know
Mm.
how to use all these other tools. I'll just learn. Like if I want to and need to learn something else, there's resources there and I will learn myself.
Yeah, I think it's like not being afraid of a new tool. Say being able to know what to search for in YouTube to find a tutorial to learn the thing.
Yeah.
Like if you know how to search, if you know how to find a tutorial, that is being tech savvy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Being tech savvy is actually knowing the prompt or the actual question to put in Google.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, have you witnessed a grandparent or even a parent that's a little bit older try and Google something, and you're like, "What are you
Mhm.
putting in? What words are you using? You're not going to get the right output using those words."
It was mind blowing to me when I realized that not everyone knows how to Google search.
Yeah,
Yes, they know where to go and Google search, but they don't know what to write in there.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're so right. If you watch someone who
uh-huh,
is not tech savvy try and Google something, they can't do it.
yeah,
So I think that's a really great point because I know that that would have freaked out
yeah,
many. And you, if you're listening, if that's you and you just had a mild freak out, like hopefully that helps you now understand what we mean by tech savvy. It doesn't mean you know all the tools
no,
and how to use all of them and how to set them up. It means you know how to work out a tool.
exactly. I like to say that you just have to be a Google search ahead of your client. Like your client doesn't expect you. Your client knows you are a human. You're a virtual assistant, but you're a human virtual assistant. You are not Wikipedia. You're not Google in your brain, right? But they trust
Yeah.
you enough to know that when you say yes, I'll figure that out, that you'll figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, we still have tech issues. You know, Sam, she went into a meeting and she was upside down
Yep.
and just ran with it. Like, and I would say Sam is tech savvy, but sometimes shit happens and
Yeah.
you can't work something out. Or we've had to leave a Teams because, I
Mhm.
couldn't get my mic working. Or, I am very tech savvy. It doesn't mean I know everything.
Exactly. Yes. Sometimes the tech just doesn't work. Sometimes glitches happen. Sometimes tools have updates. Sometimes tools have glitches. Are
Mm.
you spiraling or are you just going to go, okay, well, now I know exactly where to look to figure out what's going on? And oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is happening in their world.
Mm.
It's okay.
Yeah. Great point.
Tech savvy, communication. Oh, automation. Clients are going to be looking for virtual assistants that know about automation.
Even just the simple things that someone can automate, or even just knowing an automation tool that you could then use and
Mm.
introduce them to, and you could figure out some automations. Like, yeah, on the tech savviness, like I'm tech savvy, but sometimes trying to set up a Zap in Zapier where I'm setting up an automation, like I just can't get it to work. And I have to go in there and try and figure it out. And sometimes I have to do a workaround and I can't make it work. Sometimes I have to abandon an automation that I want to do because I just can't work it out.
Yeah.
So it's like understanding and knowing that there are automation tools and that you could work out an automation tool and you could introduce a client to one and you could go and see even just the simple things. If they are entering in information in two different tools manually, there is an automation that could do that automatically. Like this is the simple automation stuff that we're talking about. We're not saying automate an entire business. We're saying some simple automations that could speed things up for clients. They're definitely going to be looking for that.
Yeah. Oh, you'll blow their mind. If they've got nothing automated in their business, right? And you go in and you can immediately see, oh wow, I could be saving them hours just with this process alone if we create this automation. They will think that you're a fucking rock star virtual assistant. It will be singing your name at the top of
Mm.
the roof, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next, I think clients are going to be looking for in 2025 a higher level service from their local virtual assistant. And that is with
Mm.
virtual assistants needing to step into that advisory role where they helping a client do business better in whatever their specialist area is or type of service. That advisory level rather than the lower level.
Yeah, especially for the clients that they're supporting that may be very new to business themselves, right? They're basically starting from
Mhm.
scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is the connection. I feel like they really want to connect with their virtual assistants. I feel like we will see more and more, especially those that outsourcing to a local virtual assistant. They're not necessarily going to want them in the office with them a lot, but they're going
Mm.
to want to have some type of in-person connection because that connection is really important. Just worldwide, everybody I think has realized the importance of connection and they're really, really searching for it. They don't just want this random virtual assistant that is hiding behind a keyboard. They actually want that virtual assistant to be part of the team. Like they're inviting them to events. They're bringing them on retreats if they're running retreats. They really want to connect with them on a human to human level. And if that virtual assistant is local and if they can make in person work, then that is definitely a bonus. It may not be something that they're looking for outright, but I think if a lead is talking to multiple virtual assistants, they're all maybe nationwide. I believe they're going to pick somebody that's closest to them in order to have that in person connection with occasionally.
Yeah, they want you to care about their business. They
Hmm.
want you to really care about their business.
Yeah.
And if you can connect with them in person, it's a great way to build that relationship. Yeah, wait, like, should we say that one of the virtual assistants in the Scale Up Mastermind is actually in Bali on a paid
Yep.
group team building trip for her client?
Yeah. And there's others that get flown around the country to do minute taking for their clients, depending on where the board meeting's being held that month.
Coming to Christmas parties, being in the
Yeah.
like team end of year celebration
Yeah.
events.
Now, this is not to say, like, if you're a virtual assistant listening and that does not interest you at all, right? You are a happy as Larry, introverted virtual assistant that is quite happy working from your home office. It's not to say all of a sudden you have to be
Hmm.
offering some type of in-person support or connection to your clients or leads moving forward. But what we are saying is that is something that leads are looking for. So just be
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah. I think clients are going to have an expectation of increased efficiency with their virtual assistant. So they're going to be looking for
Mm.
things to be done faster, more efficiently, because they know that there is a lot of tech around. So,
Mm.
like looking for ways that you can be efficient in the delivery of your services is going to be key.
How do you think this is going to affect? So, if say, a virtual assistant who is embracing all that is AI and automation, this is part of their service, this is part of their messaging, this is part of their super skill, their service offering. Do you think this is going to affect leads going, well, okay, so if you are using all of these tools to make life faster, why are you not charging me a lower amount because it's taking you a lesser amount of time?
Well, I actually think it's going to be the opposite. They would be willing to pay a premium because they know that so much more work is going to be done within the hour.
Yes. Going back to that whole looking for efficiencies, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing we think that clients are going to be looking for is how they can have an outsource or find a support stack. You know, you might have heard that people talk about app stacks, like what is your app stack? What are the tools that are all going to stack on top of each other to create like your operations? I think the same thing is going to happen with support, because we've now got offshore virtual assistants, lower cost. We're going to have local virtual assistants where there's like higher expectations of those and increased efficiency and, the advisory kind of level. And then there's also going to be the tech, the AI, the automation. And those three things are all going to provide support, and they're going to be stacked in a business where someone is actually using all three options. So I think there's going to be an expectation, and what they're going to be looking for is someone to deliver that stack to them.
Yes. I feel like it's one of those, what do you call it? When there's a word that everybody's using at the moment. It's like the in thing.
Just created a new phrase.
Well, I don't know if you've created it, but in terms of that stacking, that support stack, like habits, like everyone's stacking at the moment. Habit stacking, support stacking. It's, it's definitely something. Yeah, it's a great
It's going to be a buzzword.
That's it. Thank you. Buzzword. Bloody perimenopause. Sorry, everyone.
And I'm going to buzzword from Jo. She created it.
So that's it. They are our predictions for the VA space in 2025. Do you agree? Have we missed anything? Let us know.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Jo VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.